All right, well, welcome everyone to today's session introducing Ask Britannica. So for those of you that are Britannica School or Britannica Library customers, this is a new feature that is coming to your platforms soon. It's a safe AI-powered inquiry tool for high school or adult level research. So we'll go through a little bit of the platform, talk about some updates, and then share some additional resources here at the end that you can use with your students and with your patrons as well. So we'll talk a little bit about who Britannica Education is as a whole and how we're dedicated to supporting educators. Then we'll jump into Ask Britannica and test drive this new AI-powered search tool. I will give you a quick overview of how that looks, and then we'll share some of our Teach Britannica resources as well. So how you can really help to bridge the gap between the work that you're doing in your school library or your public library, and really providing resources to help support your students and your patrons. Questions are welcome, so please feel free as we go through the session to engage in the chat. Just remember what you have to share, whether it's a question, a comment, any feedback, may be exactly what someone else needs to hear. So please feel free to share your thoughts as we go through the session today. The chat is open for everyone, and any questions that you have, we will do our best to answer those as we go through our content today. So just to kind of level set who Britannica Education is, a lot of folks here probably are familiar with Britannica as current customers. If you're not familiar as a current customer and you're interested in our products, yes, we are that Britannica. We are the Britannica that's been around since 1768. A few years back, we celebrated our 250-year anniversary. We have not actually published a full set of encyclopedias in over 10 years. So that is kind of the main question or main comment that we get at conferences and when we go out and interact with folks is, I remember those old Britannica books up on my parents' shelf when I was a kid. And unfortunately or fortunately, those do not get produced anymore because all of our content has been moved to our online resources. But I will tell you, it is a lot easier to update and revise an online resource than it is to update a full set of encyclopedias. But our education wing, that's our team here at Britannica Education, we do really work to meet the needs of educators and inspire curiosity among students using our diverse collection of digital solutions. So today we'll talk about Britannica School and Britannica Library, but we do have a full host of resources that we can share as well. We do pride ourselves on our customer support, really being able to help support usage in the classroom and in the library with our customer success and our customer experience teams, as well as professional learning opportunities. And we really do pride ourselves on our professional learning as well, supporting both use of our product as well as more topical themes in the education space today. So as we go through the session today, I first want to get a sense of kind of where everyone is coming from here. So if you could respond really quickly in the chat, just how familiar are you with Britannica School? And give yourself a 1 through 5 rating. 1 meaning, what is Britannica School? 5 meaning, I am a Britannica School expert. So I'll give folks just a minute here to respond in the chat. All right, we got some 3s, 4s, 5s. Those of you that responded 5, you can shortly expect to see an invitation here to host the webinar, and I will let you share your expertise. No, I'm just kidding. We won't do that. We won't put you on the spot like that. But good. Glad to see that folks are familiar with Britannica School. Hopefully today you will catch something a little new, something that looks a little bit different, and something that hopefully you're happy to share with your colleagues and with your clients as well. So what is new with Britannica School? So the newest development and what you will be seeing shortly in your instance of Britannica Schools is called Ask Britannica. So this is a secondary search feature that is built into the high school level of Britannica School and the reference center level of Britannica Library. So what you can do is you can ask Britannica a question and you can get a response from the Ask Britannica tool powered by AI. What this will do is it will summarize the content from Britannica's sources, allows you to ask follow-up or related questions, save that content to your device as a text file, but really gives you kind of a well-rounded overview and response to that question that you ask in the Ask Britannica tool. So it's a responsible, education-focused AI tool. It really encourages curiosity, but wants to keep learning reliable and safe. So again, we are pulling that content. It's designed to pull that content from Britannica School. You can ask it natural language questions and get clear, trustworthy answers that are sourced from Britannica. We had a conversation yesterday internally, and folks were asking, you know, if I just type in a generic search term, what am I going to get? So if you were to just go in and search air quality, right, it's going to give you an overview of what air quality is. But the more specific you are with the questions that you ask, the better the response that the AI will give you, right? It's been trained to recognize nuances in questions that hopefully give you the answers that you're looking for. And if it's not, then we have some follow-up resources where you can verify that information or you can ask clarifying questions as well. So as we talk about what this is, and this is very important to highlight that Ask Britannica is a secondary search function within Britannica School High. Uses AI to answer those questions with relevant insights sourced from Britannica content. It does provide linked sources. It suggests related questions, but helps students to find trusted information faster and easier than just a general keyword search within the resource. What it is not, and this is probably just as important as what it is, this is not an open source AI tool. So the responses that are provided within the Ask Britannica tool are character limited. So you're not going to be able to ask this, for example, to write a term paper. It's not going to give you that level of detail the same way that you might see in other generative AI tools that are out in the market. It's also not going to answer inappropriate queries outside of its educational scope. So if you ask it content or questions, whether it's something that's inappropriate or something that is just not contained within the Encyclopedia Britannica, it will not answer those questions. And it'll pop up with a box that says, this is out of my scope, and you're unable to answer it. And then finally, it will not collect or store personal data. So we are not using the responses from Ask Britannica to kind of continually train the AI. We're not collecting that information from you. It all exists just within the Britannica School resource. So now we've talked about what it is, we've talked about what it is not. Let's go ahead and jump into Britannica School, and I'll just share a little bit of what this actually looks like here. So bear with me 1 second, and I will jump into my Britannica School platform here. Again, all the other levels of Britannica School, early elementary, elementary, and middle will not have the Ask Britannica tool in it. If I go to the high school level, what you will see is this new interface here. And just before anyone asks, this is currently in a preview environment. It is not yet pushed out to your instances of Britannica School. So we will be sharing some information as part of our follow-up in terms of how you can access the preview, how you can play around with this before it goes live. But this webinar here today and this demo is for preview purposes to let you know when this content is ready. So this is your what your view will look like here. On the left side, we have our standard search bar here. This is our standard keyword search. So anytime where you're looking for Britannica content, Britannica articles, you can still do a regular keyword search here. And then on this right side is where we have our new Ask Britannica tool. So let me go ahead and clear this out here. Um, One of the questions that I've had recently, I don't know if anyone else here is from the Midwest. We have had terrible air quality the past few days. The Canadian wildfires have kind of blown into the Midwest. And I think at one point, Chicago had the worst air quality in the world as a result of those wildfires. Not a record that I think we were looking to set this year, but hey, that's where we are. So if I wanted to ask Britannica a question and get a sense of kind of what impacts air quality ratings, so I can go ahead and type this in here. And it will take a little bit to analyze our resources, right, to go into the Britannica School content, right, analyze that. You'll see this little animation here as those three dots just kind of bounce around. Then it will give us our response, right? So it'll say air quality ratings are impacted by several factors, and it will go into detail here with just kind of a quick bullet pointed list or a summary of what we are asking as part of our question here. Couple important things to point out. We do always cite our sources, right? Britannica, we're very adamant that sources are properly cited. So if we click here on sources, you will see all of the content that this response was pulled from, right? So all of the Britannica School articles that were used to generate this. And if I go ahead and click on this one here, this is air pollution criteria pollutants, you'll see that this will open up a new tab on my browser, and it will not only take us to that article, but it will actually take us to the specific part of the article that that content was pulled from. So we do really encourage when people are using Ask Britannica, right, to use the Ask Britannica tool in a responsible way, but make sure that you verify that information from the direct sources as well. The second piece here, if I have any follow-up questions or, maybe this didn't fully answer the question or I didn't ask the question in a way that got the response that I wanted, you can click on related questions here, and it gives you some ideas of other questions you can ask, right? So I asked about air quality, right? I was breathing in air in the Chicago area with an AQI of over 200 for a little bit. What are the health effects of that? Maybe I don't want to know that, but it's something I'm curious about. So I'll go ahead and click on our related question here, and it will then analyze that as a separate question. You see now we've got Q2 up here in the top right corner, and this will give us then a separate answer, a separate piece of feedback here from the Ask Britannica tool that helps us to further our search, right, and deepen our inquiry here. You can also go back to your previous questions, so you can keep that thread going if you want to continue to ask further questions of the tool as well. You can say whether this was a helpful or a not helpful answer. If I click on save here, this will actually save my question thread as a text file. And then you can download that to your device. You can refer back to it later. It will provide your questions, the Ask Britannica response, the sources related questions, and all of that information in a text file. If I want to wipe things out and go into a new question, I can click next question, and it will take me to question 3. And if I want to wipe out all of this search history here and I want to just start completely fresh, I can hit new thread and it will wipe out everything from the Ask Britannica tool here. Again, keep in mind, this is not using your personal data. All of those questions, all of that content is housed on the Britannica School site here. If I want to find out more, and I think this is a really helpful piece here as well, more just about Britannica's approach to AI, If I click on that link that says click here to find out more, it will take us to this FAQ site, which really goes into all of the behind the scenes content here in terms of how we're using Ask Britannica, our approach to AI, and then quick responses here in terms of what types of questions will Ask Britannica not answer. Why are there character limits, right? Giving you just a little bit of as you're having those conversations with folks in your school or in your library, right, being able to answer those questions about the Ask Britannica tool. So let me go back really quick. One last thing that I did want to share here. If I type in here, write a term paper about air quality in Chicago, and you will see as I hit here that it will not actually answer that question, right? So it won't give me any source. In some cases, I may type that in, I may hit search, and it'll say, I'm sorry, this is outside of my educational scope. But it's not going to answer those questions. It's not going to provide the work for students, right? It's designed to be a tool to help further inquiry, help support education, and not replace it. So that's the quick demo of Ask Britannica. I've been keeping an eye on the chat. I haven't seen any questions come through so far. But does
Chris,
anyone have any?
there was one question about the timing and
Okay, perfect.
when's it going to go live. I wasn't sure if you had planned to cover that in the next slides, but since it was already asked, we are targeting this going live on Monday, August 25th. But as Chris mentioned, he'll share more about how you can preview the functionality ahead of that time as a follow-up to this webinar.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, Monday, August 25th, we are looking to push that to all instances of Britannica School, but we will send some follow-up information with a preview link that will give you an opportunity to test drive that before it goes live in your system as well. Danielle, Jeremy, any other questions, comments, feedback before we move on?
Yeah, there was just a question about how this would appear in our usage data. So if you're using our standard statistics reports, the way that this will reflect is that any questions that are typed into the Ask Britannica functionality, or if you click on one of the follow-up suggested questions, those would count as queries. And then if you were to click into one of the source documents, source articles like Chris just did, that would then actually count as a document in the standard stats report.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. And then there was another question here. Can the library turn this feature off? I'll kick that one over to Danielle.
Yes, so libraries and schools who, for whatever reason, do not want this feature, it will default to showing up in your account, but you can request that it be turned off. As part of the follow-up to this webinar, we will be sending out instructions on how to do that, but it will basically just be a matter of sending us an email and we will turn it off for you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So thanks for sticking around for the demo here. I do have a couple other pieces and updates that I want to share with folks as well. But yeah, as you can see, we've tried to be very intentional with the way that we are utilizing AI, being very responsible with the way that we're using this in the platform. Hopefully you see this as a benefit for your students and your patrons to be able to really provide that kind of additional support as they are using Britannica School and Britannica Library. So the last piece here that I wanted to speak to, and this is something that I think we're very excited about here at Britannica Education, is our newest resource, which is Teach Britannica. Teach Britannica is an educator resource hub that has a lot of really great classroom-focused and library-focused materials to really help bring the most out of your Britannica resources and bridge that gap between Britannica School or Britannica Library and then your classroom instruction or your public library programs. So there's a lot of great resources in here as well. We have instructional strategies that are designed to be very broadly, flexibly implemented, focusing on building skills for students and connecting to any content or curriculum that you're teaching. We have graphic organizers that are very popular. There's 82 of them. There may be more now. Our team is constantly adding new content to Teach Britannica. I once made the mistake of showing graphic organizers to a group of librarians that I was hosting a training with, and I showed them the graphic organizers at the beginning of the session. And one of the librarians in the room, I don't think heard a word that I said for the rest of the session because she pointed and clicked and downloaded every single PDF to her device. But when she left the room, she said it was the best professional development that she'd ever been to. So, very popular piece of resources that we've offered here in Teach Britannica. We also have fully built lesson minis that are really built to provide kind of a turnkey implementation in the classroom, right? Giving teachers fully built evidence-based lessons that they can use to connect to Britannica. Let me give you just a quick test drive here of the Teach Britannica tool. So this is available open access to all educators at teachbritannica.com. You can see all of the resources from Britannica here highlighted on the front page. But again, there is no firewall, there's no paywall here. You can access all of this content. And since we have talked about Britannica School High, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our Britannica School High level. The lesson minis here, again, these are fully built lessons. We've just introduced some new ones over the summer that are focused on getting students prepared for college and career. We just launched yesterday a media literacy lesson that I'm very excited about, but focusing on getting students to understand misinformation and disinformation online and providing a number of activities to really help support that. We have bell ringers and exit tickets. These were my lifesaver when I was a teacher. I taught at a large high school in Chicago, and there were times where I was getting to my classroom maybe 1 or 2 minutes before my students because I was bouncing around from one classroom to another. And these were always, not that I was able to use these bell ringers, but bell ringer activities were very beneficial to me to really get learning started. Right. So these are all designed to be short, 5 to 10 minute transitional activities to really help get students learning, right? Activate their prior knowledge or check for understanding as well. Instructional strategies are, again, a little bit more broad, focused on skills, and can be used with any content that you're teaching, but really can be used to help build routine in the classroom as well. And then we have our graphic organizers. And again, there's a very long list of these here. But again, all of these are fillable PDF forms that can be used digitally. They are also printable forms that can be used with your students as well. Last thing to show you here, we have our top picks up here in the top left corner of Teach Britannica. We do have some scavenger hunts. We have some media literacy content. But what I want to highlight here is our free resource Fridays. So this is actually a Pinterest board. Our social media team has done a very good job of highlighting different Teach Britannica resources with worked examples and suggestions for implementation. And every Friday, we host these on our social channels with the hashtag Free Resource Fridays. The team has collected all of these here on this Pinterest board. So if you want to check out any of this content here, you're more than welcome to do so. So that is the quick plug for Teach Britannica. So let me jump back into our slides here, and I will open things up for any questions. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, please type those in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer those questions here. If you do not have any questions and you would like to jump off the call here, say thank you. Thanks for spending a part of your day with us here at Britannica. Really happy to share these updates with you all. And again, if you have any questions, please stick around and we'll do our best to help you out here.